You know that number you've always been told is normal for body temperature? Well, what if I told you it's not quite right? Today, we're going to figure out what those numbers on the thermometer are really telling you about your health. I mean, we've all had it drilled into our heads, right? 98.6 Fahrenheit or 37 Celsius. It's like the magic number. But here's the thing. That number comes from this one German study way back in the 1800s. Newer studies, much bigger ones, actually suggest the average is a little lower. So, is it really that simple? Is my normal the same as your normal? Let's dig in.
Because that number, it's not static at all. It's actually a dynamic, fluctuating signal from your body. So instead of thinking of it as just this fixed point, think of it more like a really important sentence in the bigger story of your health.
All right, so to really understand that story, we first have to get why temperature is considered a core vital sign. Right up there with your pulse and your blood pressure. And I love this analogy. Think of it as your body's own internal weather report.
Yeah, it really all boils down to this one crucial biological idea called homeostasis. It's basically your body's amazing talent for keeping everything inside stable and balanced no matter what's going on outside. And, you guessed it, keeping your temperature just right is a huge piece of that puzzle.
So, how does your body pull this off? Well, deep inside your brain, there's this tiny but brilliant little command setter called the hypothalamus. The easiest way to think about it, it's your body's own central thermostat. It's working around the clock to regulate your temperature and keep everything running just right. And that is exactly why it's such a vital sign. Your temperature gives us a direct peek into your metabolic rate. When it spikes, you get a fever, right? That's a super clear signal that your immune system is in battle mode. And even deeper, at a cellular level, every single cell in your body needs to be in this very specific, very narrow temperature range to work properly.
Okay, so now we know why we measure it. Let's talk about the how, the actual tools we use to read this story.
So first up, we've got the classic digital thermometer. You've probably used one a million times. They're super versatile. You can use them orally, under the arm, or rectally. They just need to make direct contact. Then you've got the infrared ones. Their big selling point, they're fast, and they're totally non-contact, which is why you see them used for those quick forehead scans all the time.
Next up is the tympanic thermometer. You probably know it as the ear thermometer. This is a pretty specialized tool that gives you a fast reading of your core temperature right from the eardrum.
And finally, a little trip down memory lane, the old-school mercury thermometer. You really don't see these around much anymore. They were accurate, for sure, but they've been pretty much phased out because, well, mercury is toxic, and you don't want that stuff spilling if it breaks. All right, we've got our tools, we've taken a reading, and we've got a number. Now for the most important part. What is that number actually telling us? And this brings us right back to where we started. If 98.6 isn't the whole story, then what is a normal temperature? So here's the deal. Normal isn't one number. It's really a range. For most people, that's somewhere between 97.7 and 99.5 Fahrenheit. If you drop below 95, that's getting into hypothermia territory. And on the flip side, once you hit 100.4 Fahrenheit or higher, that's what doctors generally call a fever, or pyrexia. And if it gets way up over 105.8, that's a serious situation called hyperpyrexia. And listen, where you take the temperature really matters. If you want the most accurate reading of your core temperature, what's called the gold standard, especially for babies, a rectal measurement is the way to go. But let's be real, for just routine checks at home, the convenience of an oral or a forehead thermometer is hard to beat. They're easy, they're practical, and they're way less invasive. Okay, so now we know that normal is a range, not a single number. So for our last section, let's look at why your temperature is always on the move inside that range. It's actually amazing how many different things can nudge your temperature up or down. I mean, just the time of day matters. Thanks to your circadian rhythm, you're naturally a bit cooler in the morning and warmer in the afternoon. Things like hormonal changes can cause small shifts. Hitting the gym, obviously, is going to generate heat. But the big one, internally, is infection. That's what kicks your immune system into gear and gives you a fever. And of course, the world around you matters too. If it's hot or cold outside, that's going to have an effect. So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that your body temperature is deeply personal and it's always changing. It's a vital sign that tells a continuous story about your unique body and what's happening with your health right now. So the next time you see a number on that thermometer, don't just see the number. Ask yourself, what story is my body telling me today?